Hi, my name is Mikey, and I'm a member of Oahu Water Protectors, and here's my question for the Department of Health. Which side are you on? For years, your agency has shown time and time again that you put the interests of the Navy over the community, the land, and the water you claim to protect. Just last December, you threw up shakas in a photo op with Navy officials after announcing your joint cleanup agreement just months after they poisoned thousands of people. In the Red Hill Remediation and Restoration Action Plan presentation you just shared, you stated that you're going to involve key water protection agencies to come up with an effective plan, and included the U.S. Navy in that list of water protectors.
I would certainly hope that the committee membership list is tentative and not finalized, because otherwise I would seriously ask why Sierra Club and Oahu Water Protectors are not being included in these talks. Clearly, neither the Navy nor the state truly represent the community at large, let alone the Navy's own families, and certainly do not represent the Aina. I'm sure that the Imperial War Machine and its Comprador class and the state government and congressional delegations scoff at the sentience and rights of nature. So I will ask, who will be added to this committee to represent the Aina? Who will represent Kānaka? Who will represent the Kānaka? Obviously not you. Since well before this disaster, this debacle became common public knowledge, it's been the community and the Kānaka who have had to force the issue and were largely ignored until, much like the fuel itself, knowledge of this matter could not be contained. And until the community and the Kānaka are included at the decision-making level in a tangible and substantial way in the remediation planning and execution process, then it is difficult to foresee a scenario in which the future remediation discussions can be seen as anything more than empty performative gesturing by the Navy in particular, and complicit parties within the state government and congressional delegation. So I ask, how do we truly grasp this problem at the root? Demilitarize, decolonize, deoccupies. Peace.
Today I learned that the Navy is not committed to any deadlines to actually defueling and shutting down the facility. Importantly, I also learned that the Navy officials have zero sense of urgency, and the only thing you're committed to is the deflection of truth and gaslighting. We've heard cooperation, working together quickly as possible, etc. so many times. But as you all hide behind your screens and in your offices, and as we, the community, gather here to stand in solidarity with affected communities and protect our water and kapukaki, all I see is betrayal, avoidance, and negligence.
Due to the Navy's negligence, I have lost 2 beloved dogs, my health, my home, many of my belongings, and thousands of dollars. But this is not about just me. Speak with any family on the Navy's waterline, and you will hear similar horrors of financial strain, crushing stress, and perhaps most heartbreaking, illnesses among children. Speaking of, do you see these photos? These children developed rashes and other symptoms after contact with water you deemed safe.
Today I'm here to ask Captain Gordy Meyer, from one white settler to another, why are you still here? I'll tell you, sir, why I am still here. I am here to stand in solidarity with the Kānaka OED community. I am here to show my support for the affected families, the employees your federal agency poisoned, lied about poisoning, and continue to put in harm's way. Like many of the families, babies, and pets you poisoned, I too come from a military family. And like the majority of these poisoned families, I will never trust you, Gordy Meyer, or the military ever again.
There has been complaint after complaint in the last 3 weeks from families suddenly experiencing visible contamination and odor in their water. All of these photos are from the last 3 weeks, as well as a resurgence of physical symptoms after contact with the water, such as nausea, vomiting, headache, rashes, skin sores, and fatigue. All, I will note, are symptoms consistent with exposure to jet fuel. The Navy has a long-standing, strained relationship with the truth. When will the Navy acknowledge that there seems to be yet another problem with our water? When will the Navy take accountability for the disaster they have caused, not only for our families on Navy water lines, but for all of Oahu? We don't deserve this, Hawaii doesn't deserve this, and children sure as hell don't deserve this.
Okay, thank you. The time's up on that.
I will wrap up with a question to Captain Meyer. In the Navy's own tank upgrade and analysis report from 2019, the Navy says that upgraded procedures will allow operators to defuel a tank in 36 hours. Why is the Pentagon saying that defueling could take over a year?
So when it comes to the defueling effort, we want to ensure it's done safely, and so does the Department of Health, and that's why we had the third-party assessment to ensure that we do any upgrades that are needed to ensure it is done in a safe manner. We plan to repair and do any efforts that are needed to correct any deficiencies as quickly as possible so we can defuel as quickly as possible.
So was your report false and inaccurate in 2019?
We are able to drain a tank relatively quickly. However, we want to make sure it's done safely and it's done in the appropriate manner and where that fuel goes to, whether that is further on island at our refinery or onto ships, there is still some capacity limitations, but a tank can be drained rather quickly with certain conditions in place.
We're starting the timer now.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move down into the,
I stand with affected families. I stand for global demilitarization. And perhaps most importantly, I stand for the transformation of white settler values, because these values are hurting us all. Thank you.
okay, and I can appreciate the passion behind many statements. Again, I would like to ask all of you to please remain civil in your remarks. There are ways to make strong statements and yet still be respectful.
We are tired of appealing to the morality of a state and military who continues to subjugate and degrade our land and our people. I have two questions for you, Captain Meyer. How can you have national security when you stole land, forcefully evicted people, created a never-ending cycle of houselessness, and continue, I repeat, continue to endanger your own people, ensuring you inject fuel into our homelands and our drinking water, endangering all people in Hawaii? Second question, are we American or not? Are we part of this purported national security plan? Or are you willing to admit that Americans are the terrorists in Hawaii, Guam, Okinawa, and the many indigenous nations in Turtle Island? We refuse the continued objectification and subjugation of your empire. I am not American. I will die as Hawaiian and live on forever as Kānaka Oiwi. What is best for Kānaka is best for all people in Hawaii, whether you agree with the lexicon of occupation or not. You have more broken promises than broken treaties. We say lava, not already. The only civil you will ever get from us is civil unrest until you're gone.
Why is it the case that the Sierra Club and the Oahu Water Protectors are working harder to protect me and my community from being literally poisoned than my own state and federal government?
Okay, thank you. If any of the panelists have response?
Assure you that the Department of Health is working diligently and hard to achieve a resolution in this matter to protect the aquifer and bring safe drinking water back to the people of Oahu.
To all the Department of Health officials in this meeting right now, you have a decision to make. Are you going to finally be on the side of your community, your ohana, the aina that feeds you, and the bai that gives you life, or are you going to continue to be on the side of the people who poisoned us? For all of our sakes, you need to make that decision soon and do what you are actually hired to do. Prioritize the health of the people over the interests of the U.S. military-industrial complex. You can do this by ordering not just deadlines for the submission of plans, but deadlines for implementation. Deadlines for concrete actions to defuel and decommission Red Hill with steep penalties for non-compliance. To put it simply, do your jobs. Because if you can't do your job, and if you can't get the Navy to shut down Red Hill now, the people will shut down everything else. And the next time you see us, won't be in this fake state capitol on a Zoom call. The next time you see us, will be out in the streets fighting for the change that you failed to deliver.
Try to make your comments. You can make a strong statement. Just please try to be as civil as possible.
You want to talk
all right?
about civility?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm going to go back to the.
My name is Tina Grandinetti, and I just want to respond to the repeated requests that we should keep our comments civil. The military poisoned our water. They poisoned children and they lied about it. And then they show up to this meeting to gaslight us and provide precisely zero answers to the questions that matter for the people of Hawaii. That's not civil, that's straight up violence. We have every right to express our rage because it's the only rational response to what happened, and it's the only hope we have of cutting through the military's complete apathy and to really capture the gravity of the devastation they've caused. So truly, I say this with deep respect for this aina, for all of those who've been impacted by this crisis, and for every single person in this meeting who's been fighting to protect our aquifer. Fuck civility. This is way too important.
Please, if you could not use profanity, there's always a way to get your points across. Please avoid that. Okay, we're very, very close to the end here.